Hi, scholars, and welcome back. Well, sort of. Welcome back to this quarantined edition of American Studies. I wanted to make a short video just introducing you to some of the things that you can expect to see moving forward as we navigate to doing school a little bit differently for the foreseeable future. In this video, I wanted to talk about what's left of the course. I want to talk a little bit about the expectations for moving to this e-learning style of learning. And then also talk about some ways that you can help yourselves maximize your learning in this, albeit difficult time. All right, let's start by talking about what's left of this quarter. First of all, Mr. Brown and I still have to get grades in by the beginning of next week because the quarter still ends on Friday, and grades are still due by Tuesday, I believe, like normal. And Mr. Brown, he's taken up everything that he's going to take up for a grade. I don't believe he's done scoring everything yet. I think he just got that DBQ right before break. He scored the LEQ, but I think he's still working on that DBQ. I still have a few things that I need to take this week. We're going to go ahead and do that vocab quiz as promised. It'll just be at home. There's another lit journal check that I'm going to do. It's something you've already completed. I just have to go in and check it. And then lastly, I need to finish scoring those Q3s. So that's what's still yet to go into the grade book. It's still quite a few things, as is always the case with the last week of a marking period. What's left for you? Well, this week we're going to do that vocab quiz as promised. We're also going to write a Q1 synthesis essay, the last of the 3 essays for AP Lang. And I hope that we can actually get to some looking at the DBQ and Q1 scoring guidelines and looking at some sample essays to finish out this unit. Taking a look at what's left of the American Studies course. Of course, we are still prepping for those AP exams. We don't know if they will take place on time, but we have to assume they will. We can't prepare for them to be postponed and then have them sprung on us. So right now, we're going to operate under the assumption that they will still take place somehow during the first 2 weeks of May. So that's the big thing moving forward. The other big thing is your history units 8 and 9 we still have to cover, and we will get through those over the next probably 4 weeks. As far as AP Lang goes, once we finish with the Q1, really there's nothing new left to introduce. We've seen everything they're going to possibly throw at you on the exam. So we're going to spend our time just refining those composition skills, going a little bit deeper and looking for, I'm going to teach you some more tricks to maximizing your scores on that exam. Lastly, this whole last quarter will be devoted to a lot more exam practice. We're going to try to give you guys, more multiple choice practice. We'll do essay drills, which is when we practice, looking at a prompt under a timer and planning it out without actually writing the whole essay. It's a good way to just kind of drill for timed writing experiences. And as well, we're going to hope to get in a full mock exam for both AP Lang and APUSH between now and the time those tests go. So still a lot left to do, as you'd imagine, in the last month and a half leading up to the AP exam. So let's talk about some of the expectations that we as teachers have of you going forward, moving into this unusual e-learning system. First of all, the district has told all high school teachers that we have to prepare daily lessons for you guys to complete. So Mr. Brown and I will be collaborating on creating lessons for every single day of the week. And as you can imagine, the lessons are going to be shorter than you would normally have them since they're occurring every day. Secondly, it's important that you understand that since we are not there to assist you and it takes some time to communicate back and forth through email, it's really important now that you make sure you read and watch all materials that we send to you thoroughly, because that's going to take the place of our instruction in the classroom. You're expected to complete all assignments that we give you. In fact, the district has told us that the completion of assignments is keyed into your attendance, and all of those assignments are going to be due every Friday at midnight. You're still going to be signed reading, both out of the history textbook, the AMSCO book, as well as supplementary history texts. We're still going to be reading novels. We're going to finish up Great Gatsby, get into Grapes of Wrath, and then we'll do one more short reading after that. We're still going to have unit exams. In fact, unit exam 7 is going to be next week sometime. It's going to be different than the previous ones have been. That's just because of what the accommodations we have to make for you taking it on your own. Another thing that you need to be aware of is that there's no late work accepted. Once that deadline on Friday hits, if you haven't turned in your work for that week, it's not accepted because that's what we use to determine your attendance for the previous week. So make sure that you're getting these things done and done on time. Finally, let's talk about ways that you can maximize your learning in this period. I don't know how many of you have ever taken a remote course like this before, an online course. Maybe some of you have experience with that. A lot of you probably do not. But when you are taking a course like this and the time is sort of fluid, there's really some important things that you need to get in the habit of doing. So you are on your own. Make sure that you understand that and come to grips with that. I am just an email away, but when you're working on a daily basis, you are on your own. The first thing you need to do is create an ideal learning space in your home, a place where you do your assignments every single day, and that is your school, so to speak. That is your school spot. Make sure that you set a schedule and stick to that schedule. Creating just a time and a space for this will help you start to build those good habits. And as I've said to numerous students throughout my career, good habits are just as hard to break as bad habits. So if this year you've been one of those students, and I do have those students that has had trouble doing their homework as assigned or doing really any work outside of school hours, that's going to have to change. You're going to have to figure out a way that you can do that on your own, because now, again, you are on your own to do this stuff. I want to remind you as well that you are still prepping for a big exam, and that exam is still happening, and we have to take it as though it's going to happen on May 13th as scheduled. We can't just hope that it's going to be pushed back. We need to treat it as though we are prepping still for that exam on May 13th. There is no way to cram for an AP exam. I know that there's all kinds of test materials, all kinds of YouTube videos and web resources out there that are specifically designed to help you cram for your AP tests. It's just not possible. I guarantee you that those are not marginally improving anyone's scores. Real learning has to take place over time, and so make sure that you're giving this course the time it needs over these last few weeks. Yeah, just remember, lastly, you get out of this course what you put into it. And so the more seriously you take this, the better you manage your time and create those good habits, the better off you're going to be when that big exam rolls around May 13th or whenever it does finally get here. Lastly, if you're at all curious about where some of the images for this slideshow have come from, of course, I had to go with something appropriate, and I thought immediately of the classic 1995 Dustin Hoffman vessel, Outbreak. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It may be especially an appropriate film to watch at this time. It's got everything, really. It's got Dustin Hoffman and Cuba Gooding Jr. It's got who else is in it? Kevin Spacey before he was canceled. Let's see. It's got helicopter chases and chasing down monkeys to get samples of a virus. It's just an all-around great film. I encourage you to check it out. That's it, American Studies scholars. for most of my teaching career, I've always had just two rules in class, and that is work hard and be nice. And I think that really applies to some of the best advice I can give you guys moving forward. Work hard because we're not going to be there to spur you on. You are on your own. You have to find that motivation yourself, and be nice. Put others' needs ahead of your own in this time of national and global emergency. But I'm going to add one more rule: work hard, be nice, and stay home. Please don't go out unless you absolutely have to. Let's help curb this thing so that it doesn't become quite as big of a disaster as it definitely could be. All right, scholars, thank you so much, and I'll see you when I see you.